Alright, so, hey y'all, it's your girl Deya Direct, and we are talking to the one and the only Monyetta Shaw. Hey girl.
Hey boo, hey.
So congratulations, you have yet another new book out.
Thank you.
And you are keeping it classy.
Hey, trying to, yes.
So, before we get into the book, let me just tell you, so the first time, so we know about the persona of Monyetta from TV, and
yes.
Of course you were with Neyo for many years, you know, mega award-winning entertainer, mom of two, and then of course you had a very public breakup.
Yes.
And the world was disappointed, child.
Girl, yes they were.
But you, of course, you know things that we do not.
Yeah. It's true.
So, funny story.
Okay.
The way that when you all broke up, so there was like this little heartbreak thing because, you know, everybody was rooting for you all.
Sure.
And when you came out with your first, I think it was your first or second book, and you were on the Time During the Morning Show.
Oh, yes. Bigger than me the second.
Yes. And I was Tom's producer at the time.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and so we were in the studio. You came on the show, and he was just like overwhelmed by you because you were keeping it classy.
Hey, of course.
Everything was fresh in terms of the breakup.
Yes,
we had just seen you, you know, together, and then you're not, and then there's TV, and then there was, you know, Atlanta Exes and all that stuff, right? So the world started getting into your business. Everybody has this persona of what it's all like, but I have to just tell you, in the spirit of keeping it classy, talking to you, I remember, was like a discovery for us all, and especially, you know, Tom, because he was like, she's wife material. I like her. And she's an AKA. And she went to school, and psychology major, and she doesn't have anything negative to say. Like, you knew how to handle it, and you did it.
Sure.
I'm sure it's easier said than done.
Yes, it is. Yes,
it probably continues to be, you know, a journey.
Yes, it is. It's a journey, absolutely.
So talk to me though, because I want to know about Monyetta's dreams.
Okay.
Before we got to know you publicly.
Yes.
What was the dream, girl?
Oh, honestly, I always loved entertainment. Of course, you know, went to college. During college, I was a radio personality, so it's funny.
Was that college radio station?
Oh no, it was 99.7 KMJJ in Shreveport.
Nice.
Hometown Shreveport.
Right.
Yes, country girl. So I loved it. Loved it. I just lit up when I was on the air. We're doing a lot of press, and everybody's like, yeah, I think we might be going somewhere again here.
Yeah.
But and I always, as long as I can remember, I was making up songs, dancing, doing choreography, putting on shows every summer. One of my cousins would come in town from LA and everywhere, and I was just like there doing it, orchestrating everything, and also when you had the little jukeboxes or whatever, record the songs on the tape and then talk over them, doing the little DJ thing, and also doing the acting book. That's actually how Neyo and I met. He was in town doing Battle of Los Angeles in Shreveport, and then I was actually going away to Baton Rouge to shoot a small role in the film. So yeah, my dreams were basically entertainment or to be a psychiatrist. So yeah.
And isn't it interesting how the worlds collide? We shall get there.
Yes, it is, girl.
It's always interesting because sometimes you feel like, especially women in general in relationships, a lot of times we lose ourselves in relationships. And so the reason why I wanted to know more about your dream, because for some people the dream is to be with somebody high profile, to live in the limelight, so on and so forth. But what also happens in general in relationships is a lot of times we lose ourselves. And what I find is that men, regardless of their career, they generally do not give up anything career-wise in a relationship. And there's something innate that says you can't have it all. You have to sacrifice who you are. And so many women get lost in their relationships. So I was just wondering, with you then being engaged to a megastar, being bona fide, right?
Yes.
If the person who's married to the police officer loses herself.
Just imagine.
So that's my question. What was that journey like for you?
Oh wow. It was it was a blessing and I like to say a curse at times too. Like seriously, just to be transparent with you.
For real. By the way, we only do transparent.
Oh, perfect.
That's all we do.
No, I saw your post on it. I was like, yes,
no,
girl.
listen,
like, oh,
I can't.
I shouted on it.
If it's not transparent, I can't be bothered.
Exactly.
It's just too much
Keep it
energy.
real. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Because you help yourself and others. The Bible says you overcome by the word of your testimony. You free yourself and other people in the process. Come on here. All right, so go ahead.
Come on now. Yes, like the church. But no, of course, I lost myself. Like he was on the road a lot, even before the kids. And I remember I had a boutique in Buckhead, Emerald Esther Boutique, and I would be at the store. And it's so funny. I'm with my best friend Daryl down from Shreveport, and he was the store manager. And honey, when my man would come in town, don't call my phone.
Right. So
like everything would stop. You know, it's because our quality time was that like so important to me. But yeah, and I kind of feel like it started there. You know.
When you start giving up priorities.
And it's a big thing. It was after I was in a big movie called Soul Man, Bernie Mac's last film actually, Samuel Jackson. My parts got deleted, but I'm in it. I'm Monyetta.
Girl,
but anyway,
own it.
SAG. Yeah, SAG, honey.
We know SAG.
Yes, we do.
In our $5 checks.
Hello. Okay, residual. Seriously, but and I remember I got offered a supporting role in a film, but he didn't want me to take it, but of course he was, you know, being supportive. And I just remember turning it down and traveling the world with him, you know? So it's, yeah, I was like, okay, well, I'll wait, I'll do this. And then I was on the road maybe for 6 months with him. I'm like, babe, okay, yeah, let me just go back to Atlanta. And then that's when I opened up the boutique, because before that I was also a buyer in several boutiques in Texas and Shreveport.
Okay.
Yeah, as well. So just always had my hands in something, because I had to always do something.
Right.
So it was a bit much, because of course I lost myself.
Yeah.
Made sure he was good, or dropped everything to travel where he was, because that's how you have to make it work with an entertainer. Like they're gone, you know, and sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind, and especially with the kids coming, girl. So you have trying to take care of your man, trying to take care of the kids, and it's just like, when is it time for me?
Yeah.
So yes, it happens. It happens just like that before you even realize.
So what would be your advice then? Because for people who, you know, are caught up in Instagram, caught up in what they think it all is, what would you tell 18-year-old Monyetta and subsequently other young girls who, or look, they don't have to be young.
They don't have to be.
Looking and wanting, coveting, thinking that they want that kind of baller lifestyle.
No, you know, it comes with a lot. It comes with a lot, you know. Not all men are cheaters, but you know, infidelity is real, you know. And I mean, listen, some people think that they have the lifestyle, the money, the clothes, the cars that you know, make them happy, but it doesn't. You can't take those things to the grave. I remember having an argument with him, and it was maybe something this manager said or something, I don't recall, but about why is she tripping? Is she tripping about you not being home? She got all this, she got that. I'm like, I don't care. You know, I was like, they can take all this away. I just want you and the time. You know, I remember saying that. I meant that. Exactly. Because that's what it's about. That's what's super important. And that's, you know, sustainable stuff. Like, come on. But a lot of women, you know, they get caught up in it and they'll just take whatever or stay because of, but you're, in the inside, they're so depressed and miserable. Like, it's not worth it at the end of the day. But you can have all those things and be happy and have a healthy relationship. But of course, you have to work at it. And, you know, some people stay when they shouldn't, and when it's over.
And so what are the, so when the wives, girlfriends, significant others, right, are together, right? We don't have to name names. But what are some of the big challenges that women who are in that space, what are they dealing with?
Oh, girl. Oh. Honestly,
like emotionally and spiritually, because you know we want to talk about the mental health aspect of it too.
Oh yes, the mental health, honey. It's just like it does. It can do a lot. You have to be secure. For one thing, I always said. Of course, I was popular, but you know, I was in Shreveport. It's different. You know, when we first started dating, rumors, people I haven't even met before, they're like, she was with him. She was like, you have to have tough skin first of all, and you have to know who you are. Because if not, and know whose you are, because if not, you'll get ate up in that world, like ate up completely. So it's just, you know, you have to just be strong, because it could tear you down and mess up your mental space. So honey, you got to be deeply rooted, because you get toe up and ate up. Seriously. And if you don't feed that and meditate, pray, you know, whatever you have to do to stay strong, that world can chew you up and spit you out.
So there are a lot of people who, you know, are looking like they're living their life and they're lost in the sauce.
Oh yeah, the Instagram, honey. Yeah, that the little highlight reel type of thing, and you know, do your thing, girl. But it's not. Everything isn't how it looks or how it appears to be. You know, just the mask. You know, the mask. I dealt with that too in the beginning of the breakup or whatever. But it was important to me for the kids to show strength because they feed off of energy and everything like that. But one thing's for sure, when I put the kids down, I went and got on my knees and prayed and talked to my dad and cried and talked to my support system, you know, because I needed that.
Yes.
If not, I would have, like, I wouldn't have made it, you know.
So what was that process though, and when did healing come? Because there's somebody now, like for instance, I was talking to, you know, there are positives and negatives of Instagram, and I'm a life coach, right? So people just reach out to me about certain things. So I had a woman who is going through a divorce.
Okay.
And her husband's in the military. She has 3 kids, and she's in this big house, right? And so there's that whole idea of how it looks. But he told her that he wants a divorce, and she's trying to figure out who she is now, how she's going to build a life once he's gone. And so those moments, those dark, quiet moments where, you know, the tears are rolling on the bed, nobody's there, you know, and obviously I know kids give you motivation even when you don't have it for yourself. But talk to me about those kind of nights versus when you knew healing was happening for you. What does healing look like in that process?
Those were some horrible nights. That I didn't want to wake up at times.
Listen.
Just to be, seriously. It's just like,
I've taken pills and I'm very public about it now. And so I get it.
Oh yeah. It was very hard and very rough. I thank God for my foundation, my parents, like, because like they helped me, you know, my friends helped me, and it was a blessing for the show at the time because I was on the show with amazing ladies, Christina Johnson, Tamika Raymond, Tori Hart, Cherie Buchanan, and they have been exactly where I was
good.
at the time.
Yes.
So to be able to go through that heart-wrenching, you know, tragedy, because it's like you're mourning a death, you know? Like,
it is.
Everything that you knew is no longer going to be.
It is grief.
Yeah, exactly.
It is grief.
It's grief.
Yes.
So you're grieving. And in the big house, you know, and at the time it was complicated because we were still living together, cohabitating, but he was always gone, you know, and that's what they were used to, the kids were used to or whatever, so it worked for us at the time. But girl, I had to do some soul searching and find me again, you know. I prayed, I meditated, and another thing, therapy is good.
I was gonna say, did you go to therapy?
I've talked to my like life coach and my pastor and stuff like that, but and eventually I did go to therapy because it's you have to.
It's
like
the
you
best
have
thing
to.
I've
It's
ever
a
done.
girl.
Yeah.
I was like, whew, okay, good, I got that out. Like I feel better already, you know.
Isn't it crazy the things that we have shame about that should be normalized, that are really things that are healthy?
Yes, extremely healthy. So yeah, girl, that's what I had to get it together. But it took a while for me to completely get over it and heal because it doesn't happen overnight.
So do you feel like you're healed?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like, you know, some things are still there as far as, you know, like I'm human and if certain things happen or if I think back and I'm like, whew, like ouch, but you know, all right, I'm glad I'm through that or whatever. But yeah, I feel like it took maybe like, girl, I would say like maybe 2.5 years. So. Yeah, it took a minute. It took a while.
Okay, so this is not a new conversation. You've been having this conversation publicly. You've been on the Real TV, all kinds of shows talking about it, right? And so I saw the interview where the 3 of you were together, right? But I'm like, okay, what was that journey really like? Like, do you really like her? If you do, when did you start liking her? That journey, because to me, I would think, regardless of whatever was right or wrong in the relationship, when he married somebody else, I would imagine that stung a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Some things that happen and you're like, ouch. Oh
yes, that had to sting.
That was a stinger.
And then even when you're okay with it, or when you're getting okay with it, then you still have to deal with the shame, humiliation, questions from the public.
Oh yeah. they make it worse
So,
all the time.
so it's like an open wound
Yeah,
that I would imagine is hard to heal. So,
Yeah.
okay, so talk to me about that part.
Oh yeah. So yeah. Oh goodness. Take me back there. No, it's fine.
You helping somebody.
No, a girl.
Because
listen, that's why I'm vocal about it.
Yeah,
No, absolutely.
You're helping
It's so
somebody.
hard.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
so hard, and you don't think you're gonna get through it, but I'm a living witness. You can, and you will if you just keep going. You know, a living testimony, honey. But it was very hard. Of course, Instagram doesn't make it any better. And then having to.
Did you have to stop looking at pictures and all that kind of stuff?
I didn't. I don't know. I'm just like. I'm different. Like I always knew I was strong, but I never knew how strong until it's just like because I was, you know, on the TV show and having to promote and having to do this. I could have honestly. Now that I think back, I'm like, I probably would have made it a little bit easier on myself if I just like, I was talking to Swiss Beats ex-wife Mashonda. She also has a co-parenting book.
Listen.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
we did the event together, and. She was saying she did the total opposite than me. She like went ghost, you know, and that's super important too. Like I feel like that's a good thing. Go ghost and just really figure it out. But I was still in it, girl. Every day, just imagine like opening up. The first thing you see is him and her happy and blissful, and having to, you know, speak to them. And then she's around the kids. Like it was hard at first when I first met her. Girl, I remember having a conversation. I
don't think I could be classy in that moment.
You could. It's hard. It was hard. You know, look, you have little things that come up, and Instagram, of course, you think somebody's being shady towards you, and I'm human. I clapped back one time, which went viral, and I'm like, okay, never.
Can't do that again. You know, too many eyes are watching.
Yeah, but it was like, okay, like stop, like leave me alone. Why are you on? You know, like
don't push that button.
Mess with y'all, like just, you know. But then it wasn't about me supposedly, so I'm like, okay, and that's when I'm like, you know what? Let's just have the conversation.
Yeah.
So let's go to the horse's mouth. Let's just figure it out, and then that works better. You know, you find ways to manage it and to work through it and move forward, and which is what I had to do. But the first time I went to meet her, and we took the kids to LA for something. I think Sesame Street he was on or whatever. And I was like, okay, clearly it's time to meet her. Like she's gonna be around. It's okay. Let's see what's up, girl. I was on the phone with my dad. My dad called him. I didn't know it. And he called me back. And he's like, okay, listen, I don't know what you thought it was gonna be. And I love my dad. He keeps it 100. Deacon Shaw, hey, Daddy, love you.
Hey, Deacon.
My sounding board right there, honey. He just keeps it 100, no matter how it feels. He's just like, listen, I know you thought this was it, but it's not, you know, and it's fine. Like you deserve this. You're amazing. You're strong. But now he ain't it, you know. But just to hear that and to
from your daddy,
yeah. And I was like, I was crying. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, let it out. I'm good. Go meet him tomorrow. We'll be fine. Or I think it was later on that night. And I did, and it was like, huh? Like me and you sitting right here. It's like I was talking to a girlfriend. I'm like, oh, she's not that bad. Because of course I heard things on the internet and everything. And I'm like, then I talked to him about it. He was like, come on, Mo. Like she's this. She's cool. I was like, okay, all right. If you're a good judge of character, I hope so. But I have to meet her, you know. And so everything was cool. And I was like, okay, great. So we didn't become friends and buddies right then, but it was like, okay, she's fine. And then other things would happen. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Like it's messy. I would hear she's doing this. And come to find out, people was telling her I was doing stuff. And I'm like, no. I was like, ask him. The whole time he was with me, he was never in mess. Because I just don't do mess. Like, I don't care. I don't have time for it. Like, we all, like, I got my own problems in my own life. Like, I don't have time to worry about anyone else's stuff. So I was like, no, but it's great because if we never would have talked about it, communicated, we still would have been having this quote unquote beef or like problems, which would affect the kids as well, you know. And so I'm so glad the place that we're in right now is awesome. You know, it's not perfect, but we, like I said, we communicate at times, and I feel like we're friends now. We can talk, hit each other up, congratulate each other. Oh, girl, that's a cute picture or whatever. Like, yeah, girl, get it. Like, whatever. Like, why can't it be that way? You know what I'm saying? So we're at a great place now. Thank God.
Thank God.
Yes. You know, but it was hard. It was hard to say.
It's okay. So I want to talk about what is it that keeping it classy means, right? Which I think you probably already described it. But what would you say some of the nuggets are in the book? Which coincidentally was forwarded by Neyo.
Yes.
Which I think, or which is his
Schaefer Smith.
Schaefer. So does he go? So this is Schaefer who did this.
Yeah, Schaefer Neyo.
Got it.
But
So That was a great act. That's a great introduction because what that says is what you're talking about is actually authentic.
Oh yes, yes.
Because you could just be doing a book and you're not living that life.
No, of course not.
But
I know.
yeah,
A lot of my friends are like, okay, she's saying this, keep it classy, but y'all, like, she lives it.
yeah,
I live it every day of my life. You know what I'm saying? It's real, and even when I was hurt, I pride myself on just always putting them first, which is so hard when you're hurt because hurt people hurt people.
That's it.
You know, and that's why so many times you see each other using the kids against them, and okay, you don't want me, okay, I'm gonna take the kids, and like, but you have to stop for a second and see who this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
In the long run.
So that's what you talk about in the book.
Yes, I break it all the way down. Give strategies of what works for us, you know, what you probably shouldn't do, you know, and just keeping it classy. It's a lifestyle. It really is. And some days it's hard to keep it classy.
You know what? So,
you have to.
so my latest book is called "Soft is the New Power," right? Thank you. And it's about using your femininity as a strength. But what I try to always share is being classy or soft is actually not a punk move. It actually requires more energy, more discipline. Like you have to go deep to be soft or to be classy or to choose the road less traveled, to not take the easy way. Like that is a whole nother muscle.
Yes, I was gonna say that you have to, it's so easy to do the first thing that comes to your mind, you know, to react without thinking. That's easy, of course, anybody can do that. Like, but if you take a moment and just sit in it for a minute, or maybe like, don't write that text right now, sleep on it, and then see. And most of the time, what you would realize this is not as bad as you thought when you were in that moment.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. If you're having one of those moments, they always say, sleep on it before you react, because you're not going to be as angry.
No.
And then I always have to do a check test and make sure, am I being messy?
Right.
Because in that moment, it's real.
What? Oh yeah, I don't know.
So were there people who were like, because you know our girlfriends are our cheerleading squad, right? And a lot of times, in the name of trying to protect you, take care of you, they want you to fight or give you bad advice. Were there people who you had to stop talking to, telling stuff because it would make it even harder for you to make a classy choice?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important who you surround yourself with in any situation. That can make or break you. And of course I have my rah-rah friends. Of course, you know, your friend's gonna ride or die, you know, and they saw me hurting.
That's right.
You know, and they just wanna, like you said, protect me. But I would say, I didn't really reveal a lot, so only a certain amount of people on the inside knew, like, through and through what was going on, and I've always been like that. I have a lot of associates, but a few, like, close friends that really know. And those people, I mean, they know me. So they're like, okay, well, she's gonna be nice. They call me like Nice Nancy. Okay, Nice Nancy. Like, ooh, girl, like, you better than me type stuff, you know. So of course they'll give their advice. And even on any situation that's going on, they could give their opinion, but they know I'm gonna listen, but I'm gonna do what I wanna do ultimately.
Sure.
You know, and I respect that. But anyway, one friend in particular, my rah-rah friend, oh honey, would set it off and would try to, and I just have to pull them back and be like, listen, no, we're not gonna do that. Because it's going to reflect me. It's going to mess up my family. At the end of the day, it's about the family. It's been a couple of times he done said something, popped off, and everybody popped. I'm like, if someone picked this up, it's going to like just create drama, and I don't have time for it. And girl, it's
like you're not helping. You're not helping me.
You're not helping the situation. Yeah. So and I was like, listen, if you do this, know that you're not gonna be able to come around as much. My kids love you. You love the kids. Like we need you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're my sounding board. You know. And took a moment. It was like, you know what, you're right. You know, like it's always I'm being the you know, the reason.
Right, but you almost having to babysit the people who are supposed to be there for you. And it's like, hold on.
It happens at
because
times.
if things pop off, they actually will not have to deal with the ramifications.
No, and I just had to explain it one time.
Yeah.
He got it, and he's like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I know you know what I'm talking about.
So Monyetta now.
Yes.
You're on tour. You're keeping it classy.
Yeah.
So tell me about the tour. Why the tour?
Yes.
What do you want people to walk away with from the book and the tour?
Yes. So the book and tour, like I just wanted it to be something different. You know, you can always do your regular book tour, meet me, sign the book. We had a little banter, you know, talk, but not really. We can't feed into each other. We can't really connect. And so I was like, you know what? I want this to be different. And recently, last year, my brother passed. He was for mental illness, and I'm just like, I have to like talk and speak and just like connect. Cause so many of us are just we're wounded, and our spirits are just low, and it could take one situation that could break you and that could destroy you. And now living through that, I'm like, oh no, I have to do something more. Like I have to not speak about it a little in my book. I have a psychiatrist that actually did a chapter in the book. Like it's just super important. So I wanted to do something different. I was like, I'm gonna call up my amazing friends and friends of my cousins and just women who are just powerhouses doing everything. And yes, thank you again.
So you're gonna be
there. Like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, Saturday, and I just can't wait. It's gonna be powerful. But I wanted to just for us to feed into each other and just talk about fitness, finance, faith, family, mental health, and you know, just do some things and talk and have discussions.
Yes.
You know, we need to do that, and we need to uplift one another and empower one another. And so that's why I wanted this tour to be that, to start the conversation, to keep the conversation going, and just to connect with my sisters and brothers, because they're invited too.
That's right.
You know, and let's just talk, and let's you know, shoot for our dreams.
Yeah.
It's never too late. Like keep going and just get empowered and just you know, discuss the things about life that's essential. You know?
I am proud of you. Excited to be a part of this journey with you. I know lives are going to be changed.
Oh, yes.
And something that I also try to always do is to incorporate some kind of mental health component in it. And you mentioned your brother.
Yes.
And that he suffered with mental illness. And I really appreciate how you owned it. And it was a sad, hard moment, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But I believe that my motto is make your pain pay you back. It cost you something, right? Yeah. So if it cost you something, you've invested in it. What are you going to do with it, right? Yes. So you want to get some interest off of your pain, right? Because you had to pay for something. And so, you know, your brother's life is not in vain. No. The love that you will always have still remains. Absolutely. And there's so many people who have family members who are dealing with mental health issues. Absolutely. And it's this, you know, all these things that we don't talk about that are secret, that we would free ourselves and so many people. Because I believe the Me Too movement is not just about the whole sexual act that's happened in offices or Hollywood. Yeah. The Me Too is our secrets. Yes. All the secrets that we have. And when somebody shines light on it, you know what you say?
Like, me too. Yeah.
And then it gives life to it. And I feel like when God raises our profile, it's to do something greater with it. And so I see you making your pain pay you back. Yeah. And I applaud you for having the conversation publicly to the degree that you know, can around mental health and family. What kind of responses have you gotten from people since you started to talk and disclose?
Wow. Like I knew it was issues around the subject, but I had no idea. Like you can read the statistics, but just to feel it and have conversations, like I mean, an overwhelming response and changing lives. Like at the Shreveport date, when I said we were in there crying, one young lady spoke out about it, and she was dealing with her husband and her son, and just like, you know, she felt like, what am I doing wrong? Or I'm like, I need help, and I can't figure out. I'm the strong one, but I need somebody to help, girl. And then that started like this lady over here going through the same thing, and she's like, everybody just opened up and like really discussed it, and we had the expert on the panel. Like, oh, it was just beautiful. It was beautiful, and that like we have to keep that going and like make sure that they know they're not alone, and that there's help out there, and God is amazing, you know, and just don't give up the hope.
Sometimes when you talk about stuff, sometimes even when you're willing to talk about it, sometimes other people in your family may not want to talk about it. So how is that playing itself out? Like, is it helping you to talk about mental health, your own self-care, mental health within the family? And so number one, is it helping you, and if so, how? And number two, What about your family? Are they comfortable having a full conversation?
Yeah, I would say it's helping me because of course I'm still grieving. You know, it's just my life has changed forever because of that. My family were extremely close, and we were dealing with it to move them back to Louisiana. It was hard.
So you heard when you said you heard it in his voice.
He just something wasn't right anymore. It's just like I don't know, like something clicked, and he was talking different. You know, I'm like, you know, and I started immediately calling people and trying to figure out and trying to convince him, like, maybe you should just go talk to somebody. And of course, you know, like, it was my first time dealing with anything, so I'm just trying to just gradually go into it without trying to insult him, you know, just let him know that I'm there, like, whatever you need. But it was, noticeable. And so I'm like, okay, it's okay, you know, even at his job, like, he couldn't work anymore to a point, you know, and I was helping him out. It was a lot. So our family was going through it in private. Not that we were trying to hide it, but, you know, it just never came up. And, you know, like, and I'm like, But, you know, it happened, and I was like, no question, like, I have to be his voice. I have to speak for him because so many people are going through this.
So to the degree that you're comfortable, just because people may not know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
when you say it happened, what are you referring to?
Well, because of the mental illness that occurred, he took his life. So yeah, he committed suicide. And I was shocked because he didn't discuss that with me, but being at home with my parents, after it happened, it came out that he brought it up a couple of times, but I didn't know because I don't know if they were, I would worry, they thought I would worry, or they thought like whatever, but I had no idea. Like I knew he was in a bad space. And I knew we were trying to get help, and of course you can't make them go. They have to go, you know, so it was a struggle. It was a struggle for a while. And once he would go, he would, you know, act like he was fine, and they'll release him. You know, it's just like, what can we do? We're trying. It was very frustrating, very, you know, it's just like, and he didn't want to be a bother, and I would tell him, like, you're never a bother, like, you're not going to be a bother, but in his head and how he felt, because he was a strong one, you know, and I guess for him to be feeling like that, he just didn't want to, and he basically gave up, you know, and he thought he was helping us, but, you know, that's how he had it all figured out. But yes, that's what happened. But my family, they're fine with me speaking out. My dad is extremely proud that I am, and even it was to the point, like, at the funeral, I spoke, and I didn't think I could get through it. And it was my dad who was like, he would want you to just honor him. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. And so with my dad saying it, I'm like, and I'm going to honor him forever by speaking and by telling his story and by creating, I'm working on my nonprofit now. I'm like, it has to be something in the realm of that, you know, because it's super important.
I love it. It's so important. So I remember going through that with my ex-husband, and I think one of the things that can be really useful in this journey is really educating people on how you can be a caretaker of somebody who is mentally ill, which is that you can't. Because it could be Alzheimer's, which is also mental.
Oh yeah.
Or it could be another diagnosis, right? Whether it's bipolar, schizophrenia, whatever it may be, even depression. You have to be equipped in a very specific way, and love is there and it's real, but sometimes the best way to love a person is to get help. Because you also wear yourself out emotionally too.
You can only do so much.
I remember my ex-husband was undiagnosed at the time, and he was going through all kinds of fits to the point where he was starting to use drugs. And, you know, which a lot of people use drugs as a mask for their mental illness, and so that's or drinking or whatever. We have our coping mechanisms, right? And so it got to the point where I took him to therapy. I thought we were going to marriage therapy, but we needed much more. And they basically educated me on how to help, which is I basically had to call the police on him. I didn't want to do that, but that's the only way that they can actually put him in the system to get the help that he needed. And so, but there's so much guilt and shame around what you don't want them to feel, how you don't want them to be treated and all that, but what you don't realize is you're not helping. You're hurting because you don't have the skills. You just don't.
Yeah.
So you understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I went through that firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was just like, we don't have another option. We can't deal with this on our own. We need help. And it's unfortunate that they have to get to a certain point to get that help when they don't realize
The system is sick.
Girl,
The system is sick.
it is so sick. It's just like they want this to happen. They want something to, like really
You
what
have
more
to
do
do
we need
something.
to do?
Yeah.
Like, so you have to harm us or themselves before. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But unfortunately, that's how it is. And when it got to those moments, we had to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no question. I actually felt safer when, and I knew he wasn't in his right mind. At times, it was worse than others. At times, he was chill. And I was afraid for my mom because my mom had like knee surgery, hip surgery. Like, she's at the house a lot.
Yep.
And then I don't know, like, if something would happen, we get to that point and he doesn't realize who he is, so I would pray every night so hard, just, whew. So, and I'm like, who knows? I'm like, maybe it was something in his head and he felt he had to protect us or protect her. Like, I really feel like something in my spirit tells me that. And that's why, because it didn't make sense to me.
Right. And it's
like,
not going to.
Oh, of course not. And I'm like, and so I'm definitely, and I know the family, and I know even though we're hurting, we have peace with it because we did all that we could do.
Mm-hmm.
We did, for a very long time until, didn't want this outcome, but,
And it's weird to say, but that's family. Sometimes you do feel a sense of relief.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you live in so much fear and on the edge. And sure, nobody wants, an outcome like suicide at all.
No.
But the grieving process is one where you go through all these different emotions, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a loss of a family member.
Yeah.
There are all these stages of grief, whether it's your life changing, right?
Yeah.
In general, we grieve who we were.
Yes.
We grieve what we thought was normal. We grieve our age. We grieve, so many things. And I think normalizing the conversation and using your platform in the way that you are is exactly what is going to be life changing. So in closing, what do you want your audience to take away from this tour?
I would like my audience to take away from that Keep It Classy tour that, you can do it. Raise your kids, co-parent successfully, positively. Go get that new job, start your own business, thrive, get down to your goal weights again, get your finances together. Like, you can do it all. You can. And with the help of your team around you, which I mean like your family, and just a great, well-rounded, evenly yoked people in your circle, because that matters. Like we talked about earlier. You can achieve it. You can get your best life.
Yeah.
You can do those things and just go away feeling refreshed and empowered and just having a happy, healthy family and healthy life.
I love it. And I think you said something really important, which is we've got to be okay knowing that, A, we're not okay all the time,
Yes.
and that you can't do it by yourself.
No, you can't.
Like, so stop.
Stop
trying
trying
to.
Girl, yes. I've been there.
You just can't. And I always share the best quote that I've ever heard, because when you've been given the title, the strong one or the successful one or whatever, there's a shame and a sense of, well, I can't let anybody else know what I'm going through. But then who's saving Superwoman?
Exactly.
Right?
After my book, You Are Not Superwoman.
See?
Yes.
Superwoman needs to be saved. And so the best quote that I heard was that even a doctor can't operate on themselves.
That's deep. I love that.
But it frees you, because this is somebody highly skilled.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But if they're sick,
They can't do it. They can't go in
they're
there.
human. You cannot operate on yourself. And sometimes we're too close to it that you just need help and support. And so in terms of not doing it alone, I gotta ask, girl.
Okay, girl.
So where is Monyetta in her classy love life?
She's blushing and extremely happy in love.
Oh!
Yes.
Congratulations.
For years now. Thank you. I keep that part off of social media. I'm gonna do it as long as I can. Make sure we have that strong foundation, because honey, when they get in there, you already know they're gonna try to meddle and try to whatever. But and I'm enjoying us loving on each other without all the chaos, and of course our friends, and we travel, everybody, like, so we're having a great time,
Right.
you know, just off the ground right now.
Right.
And you know, when we do, it'll be fine, we'll be good, we'll be ready and equipped for it, because honey, it gets crazy. But yes, I am very happy in love, and hopefully, you know, all the other stuff will happen.
Right,
and
right.
The kids love him. So,
Good.
yeah,
So what was that journey like with the blended family? Because we're talking about blended families.
Yes.
How did you know? When did you know it was time to introduce the kids and that kind of thing?
You feel it, you know.
And then how did Daddy deal with it?
Right. Oh, he was cool. I talk about like 6 months being that, you know. But sometimes you don't know the person in 5 years, honey. So you just gotta go with that gut.
Ma'am.
Hello. You have to go with that gut and just feel it out. And you know, you don't want to keep introducing the kids to Uncle Bob, Uncle Joe. You're like, come on now. You know, you know like what's appropriate and what's not. And I'm just very like protective of my babies anyway. So it happened authentically. And you know, when it was time, I knew it was time. And then they met, you know, the man and the, you know. So
did they have the man talk like y'all had the women talk?
Yeah, of course. You got to. Like, yeah, like, okay, you gonna be around, like,
this is what grown folks do.
This man's talking about, like, okay, he good. It's okay. Like, it's good. It's just grown up, and it flows so much better when it's done that way. Without all and even if things come up, you know, you handle it like grown folks. It's like, so you keep it classy.
You keep it classy. And what are you most proud of yourself for?
Honestly, I keep going back to my foundation, and because, honey, there were times when I didn't know if I was going to make it, and through God's grace and mercy, honey, I'm here today, and I'm able to help others just by, you know, my story and my testimony, and that I'm proud of it, because there's so many people, like we said, that just act like everything's okay, and everything's fine. Oh, man, whatever, I'm good, my marriage perfect, my man's perfect, good, girl, bye.
When you do that, I know you're lying.
Like, sit down, you know, like.
Because you're trying too hard.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not even, like, I get it, but you shouldn't be ashamed of it. Like, it's life, it happens. Like, it's not always, like, butterflies and rainbows all the time,
ego,
you know?
And fear.
Ego, it's in my book, too.
Ego
number
and
one
fear.
Girl, number one thing that will destroy any relationship, not just co-parenting, any relationship, friendship, like, egos. Once you realize that it's the ego, it's what it is, and let it go, like, things will run much more smoother. It really, really will.
Well, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank
you for showing us how to keep it classy. Listen, because it could be another way.
Listen, I'm telling you.
But it's a choice.
Hey, it's a choice.
Classy is a choice.
Classy is a choice.
That might be the name of this podcast.
I love it.
Classy is a choice.
Yes.
Boom!
I love it.
And so for more people to find out where you're going to be next, they go to MonyetteShaw.com.
Yes.
And is the book on Amazon?
It's on Amazon.
Okay.
Yes, it is. You can find it on Amazon.
All your books, you can find all her books, find out her dates on her website.
Yes, everything is there.
Yes. All right, girl. Thank you for being on the Superpowher podcast.
Thank you. Hey, it's Monyetta Shaw. Check me out with my girl Deya Direct on the Superpowher podcast.